Yeah. What's a good word, everybody? Happy Saturday morning to you. Happy New Year. If I have not seen or talked to you, I just want to thank you for taking the time to tune in to watch the video. Just a word of encouragement to everybody going into this new year. And I'm hoping that your families are doing well, that you're blessed, that you're in a good place, and that you have a desire like me to make 2024 be the best year of your life. I know some of you may know me or some of you do not, but let me introduce myself. My name is Lamar Jamal Callahan. For the sake of just keeping it short, you can just call me Lamar Jamal. Want to introduce myself to you. I want to tell you a little bit about myself as I'm hoping and endeavoring to open up to you. You open up to me. This will be the beginning of what will be a series of videos turn podcasts, which will be called Four Corners. I'll get into why I chose to call it Four Corners. It will be unscripted, it will be transparent, age appropriate. We're going to talk about a variety of things. Trust me, I guarantee you on this one front, we'll probably definitely disagree on some things. We'll definitely, I don't want to say get heated, but I believe when adults come together, young adults come together, and we talk about things, topics, conversations, and different things that can be controversial, there's definitely going to be a difference of opinion. And so one thing I like to do to keep it a buck, let's respect each other's opinion. Let's respect each other's values. Let's respect the fact that we all come from different walks of life. We come from different places. We view life differently. We've had different life experiences, etc. I'm hoping to create a platform that we can talk about everything: sex, money, relationships, peer pressure, the home, the grind, the hustle, all types of things, you name it. As I said, it's going to be unscripted. The fact that I say unscripted is because a lot of times we can sit and we can write things down and we know these key points to say, what to say here, what to say this. I like the fact of just talking about things and letting things fly. I definitely have an awful lot of life experience. I've been a huge blessing to a lot of people in this life in various ways, through speaking professionally. I'm an author, a writer, recording artist, etc. But just with me trying to find myself as a man, I've also hurt a lot of people. I've disappointed a lot of people. There's a lot of people that, sadly to inform you, that when your name comes up, it doesn't put a smile on their face. And that's absolutely okay, because that allows room for growth. That allows room for us to be stretched and challenged to get beyond, where we are presently, who we are presently. I've committed myself since being a young man to being what I would call a lifetime learner. I commit myself to grow. I commit myself to change. I commit myself to, not always thinking that I have all the answers, not always thinking that, I have everything right, not always thinking that what I say is best. There's certainly another way to do things. One way that you do things is one of many ways. One way that you see things is one of many ways. One way that information is passed on to you and processed through your mind and filtered through your mind is one way that you process it. And so what I've learned over the years is that we all process things differently. We all process information differently. We all deal with heartache differently. We all deal with trauma differently. We all, we have a way of at least trying to make things make sense to us. But again, let me be to the one to inform you. There are some things in life that don't make sense. There are some tragedies and things that don't make sense. There are different things that happen to good people, to me, that don't make sense when you see other people who don't want to be a productive member of society seemingly get by with this or seemingly get by with that. So a lot of these things don't make sense, but we're going to dive into a lot of those things over a period of time. I know there are millions and thousands of videos and podcasts and all types of information out there. I want to be a voice to my world first, and then hopefully the world that is real, that is authentic, that is genuine. You know, a lot of times, men in particular, because I'm a man, I can speak from a male's perspective. We sometimes don't want to share information about our lives. We don't want to share, in particular, failures. We don't want to admit moral failure. We don't want to admit that we were not the best parents growing up. We don't want to admit that we might not be the best parents today. We don't want to admit that we've been involved with cheating or affairs, or that we have a violent history. I endeavor to be transparent with all of these things, because I feel like this: how am I going to talk to an audience that I can't be real with? How am I going to talk to an audience that, I'm asking you, well, keep it real, keep it a buck, be open, let's talk about these things, because it'll be therapeutic, it will help us, this, that, and the other. I'm a firm believer that one person's mess is certainly a message for somebody else, and so I'll be coming a lot from that angle. But I'm asking you over time, as you build trust up with me, as I build trust up with you, that we talk to each other. I think part of the thing with me growing up, which was really difficult, is that I had a lot of people talking at me, and I was looking for people to talk to me. I wasn't necessarily looking for you to tell me the obvious about my life as far as what I'm doing wrong, this, that, and the other. I obviously know that I'm doing certain things wrong. I'm the one doing the behavior. What I was actually hoping that people would be able to do was to help me deal with some of the root causes of why I was displaying some of the behavior and the brokenness and different things. So we're going to go on and talk about all of those type of things, and we're going to find out in our lives how these things pertain to us. But more importantly, rather just telling you about what pertains to you, let's figure out what we can do about it. Did you hear the word I said? We. Let's find out what we can do about it, not what you can do about it, not what I can do about it. What can we do about it? And again, so about me, Lamar Jamal, I am the proudest father of two young adult children who I can't call them children anymore, because they are young adults. They are both God-fearing college graduates. They both have degrees in their respective fields. I have one daughter, I have one son. My daughter has her degree in criminal justice and is a K-9 handler at a major airport. My son has a bachelor's degree in communications and a minor in marketing. Both athletic. My son more so a student athlete, high school basketball, a little bit of college basketball, is into Muay Thai fighting, etc. My children are very smart, very articulate, like their mom and I, and that's not to toot our horn as though we're something special, but it does show as a parent that we've done some things right to pour and instill into our children. Their mom and I are no longer together. We are the greatest of friends today. By God's grace, we found a way to co-parent and that relationship as husband and wife ended in 2006. So there's been a long time that has passed and gone on since then. And so, when I begin to talk with you and discuss with you some things, I've been through some things. I've been through marriage and divorce. I've been through relationships where there's bad breakups. I've been through relationships where there were words exchanged that I wish I could get back, and I know the other parties wish that they can get back. I've been through relationships where all kinds of foolishness and different things were involved, but however, I have grown a lot from those things. I think part of that is learning. Hopefully we learn, from the things that we go through. Hopefully we learn that whether it's 50-50, whether it's 80-20, whether it's 60-40, however you do your math, I'm hoping that there will be some type of ownership on your part for the breakdown of different relationships and things that have been in your life. And I'm not just talking about marriage. I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. I'm talking about peer-to-peer relationships. I have a group of peers, say for example, when I go and play basketball, 2 to 3 times a week at the YMCA, and we have a group of guys, a good group of guys, that relationships are built playing basketball. Why would I bring up something like that? Is because those relationships can be broken down where, if, like me, you possibly grew up in a rougher area, and I'm not saying I'm like, from the lowest of lows and all that, but I did grow up where we fought playing sports, and it went beyond verbal. We fought. Some people may have pulled out guns or this, that, and the other. I wasn't one of those ones to pull out a gun or to do something crazy like that, but I have seen it done. I have seen, just different things like that, and I'm bringing up those things for a reason, is because the relationships and the different things that we cultivate in life, and if you know anything about cultivation and farming and different things like that, it's a process. Things are built. It doesn't happen over time. Seeds are planted. Water's involved. Cultivation, taking care of things, keeping certain things out, and sort of that healthy growth can take place. I'm hoping that from these series of videos, I'm hoping that from this podcast, Four Corners, how things will be unscripted and will be transparent. I'm hoping that it would help you grow, that it would help you to cultivate life and change and growth, that your process of thinking would change. I thought a certain way growing up, and I'm not sure if you've ever dealt with this, but I had this attitude at times that no one can tell me anything, like I knew it, like I had everything figured out, only to find out that I absolutely did not. I had this this way of keeping people at bay, because even though if they were trying to say some things to me in the most loving and caring way, maybe I just wasn't ready to receive it. I think that goes back to, what I was saying about people talking at me growing up. A lot of times we say, well, no one was there for me, this, that, and the other. Well, I want you to re-examine that, because I will guarantee you this: if you really could go on location, there were plenty of people that were there for you, but you weren't ready to receive what they had to say to you, because that's when people have to say certain things to you. It causes you to have to address some things with yourself. We'll get into those things later on, but addressing some things within ourselves sometimes can be the hardest thing. I'm not sure if you have ever, kind of analyzed someone else and you kind of size them up and this, that, and the other, and you formed your opinion of them. That's the easiest thing to do, but it's the hardest thing to do for yourself. Part of what I say, things are going to be unscripted. As an author, which I am, I have written a book, and this is my first book, called Unscripted Transparency, the Lamar Callahan Story. So I am a published author. I will get into telling you how this book came together. It is available on Amazon, etc., etc. Um, this book came together in the most unique way. I believe that every person has a book inside of them. Let me tell you why. A book is a story, whether it's fiction or nonfiction. Mine happens to be real, okay, and nonfiction because it's part of my life story. I was brave enough, with God's help, to talk about some difficult things inside of this book. Some of the things I've mentioned, failure. Who likes to fail? Who signs up to say, well, I'm just going to wake up and be a failure today? Who wakes up one day and says, I'm going to hurt as many people as I can? Who wakes up one day that says, I don't want to be anything. I want to be unsuccessful. I want to be a menace to society. And I want as many people that look at me and think about me to get a sense of displeasure. I don't want to say that's not any of us, but I'm hoping that that is not you, and it's certainly not me. And so putting this book together, I consider myself to be a very sound sleeper. And I would probably say for like a week straight, I was awakened out of my sleep probably like around the same time, maybe like 2 a.m. And your boy was troubled. Troubled. I don't get troubled too easy. I'm pretty even keel and pretty balanced, I would hope. And I felt a tugging, a nudging, a push. And I'd go as far to say that I felt God say to me, share your story. Share your story. What do you mean share my story? I've been sharing my story. I am a recording artist. I've written from front to back 3 full-length CDs, which I'll get into more. I don't know if y'all call them CDs. I know CDs are outdated. Some people call them albums, whatever. I've written 3 of them. First one, rated R, rated righteous. I'll show you them at some point. Second one was called All Terrain. The third one was called Side View. And then I have some singles out, etc. Share your story. I don't know if you've ever asked God a question, but I questioned God. What do you mean share your story? I was threatened because my story is messy as hell. My relationship resume is messy as hell. We all have skeletons in our closet, and some of our skeletons still have some flesh on it. But I have skeletons in my closet. I have things, man, that I've been a part in that I wish to God I could get back. You? No? All right, maybe it's just me, but I'll let that one get over our heads. No, we all have some things in our closet that we wish to God we could forget about, that we could bury. Some things that we've committed to ourselves. I'm just taking this to the grave. But anyhow, the book, Unscripted Transparency, the Lamar Callahan story. I will tell you this, if you had anything to do with my upbringing, you may have been a nurturer in my life. You may have been in opposition in my life. You may have been someone that You know, we've swung on each other. We've had verbal sparring matches. You may have been someone that I've been intimate with. You may have been someone that I've dated. You may have been someone that I've married. Hear it from my heart and not from my mouth. I love you. Forgive me for any and every way that I may have wronged you, in any and every way that I may have hurt you and yours. Please charge it to my head and not my heart. I am not a complete man today, but I'm a different man. I've had some time to reflect. I've had some time to analyze. I've had some time to get some counsel, some growth, some healing. I've had some time to air out. I've had some time to process. With God's help, I've had the opportunity to talk with people that I've been in, let's say, romantic relationships with, where marriage and divorce took place, where children were involved, my children, their families, my family. People got hurt. People that at one time were interested and invested in trying to know God walked away from God altogether because of my actions. And that's a heavy weight to carry, because it shows you the effects that your life has on others that love you and those that are attached to you, which we will dive into those things, you know, later on as we go. But the book, Share Your Story, Unscripted Transparency, the Lamar Callahan story. As I was saying, if you had any part to play in my life, any role to play in my life, you'd be in this book, for legality's sake, and quite honestly, for people's respect. I respect people today differently that I didn't before. I used people's initials in the book, so don't sit and try to figure out, oh, that's this one he was talking about, that's that one who's talking about. It makes no difference. The fact of the matter is that you have a man standing before you who was transparent, who was honest, who was real, that said, I blew it, I was there, I saw it, I said it, I experienced it, I crafted it up, and I'm guilty. You also have a man that says, forgive me, I own it, I see life differently, I will answer that situation differently if given the opportunity. I will be the person you would want in your corner to help walk you through these situations, because I believe that life experience is the best teacher. I don't care what anybody says. I believe, other than God himself, life experience, the experience of it, is the best teacher that you can have. How are you going to tell a mother that experienced a difficult pregnancy what a difficult pregnancy looks like and feels like, and you're not a mother? Case in point, case closed, zip it, close your mouth. You can tell her what you read in a book, you can tell her what you heard, you can tell her what a family member or a friend experienced, but it is not your experience. And so from my experience as a man now, from my experience as a responsible man, as my experience as a father, as my experience as a multi-business owner, from my experience of being a former athlete, a coach, from playing, competitive football on a high level. I can talk to you from experience. I can talk to you from experience of having sown some bad seeds, and watching the growth of those seeds and the harvest come from those seeds ugly. I don't know if you've heard, I don't even know if you believe that you reap what you sow. Hear your boy Lamar Jamal, you do reap what you sow, and that's good and bad. And so That is not a bad word. Those are not bad words. Those are not bad terms. And so in the book, man, like I talk about it all. I told you we're going to talk about sex. We're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about parenting. We're going to talk about co-parenting. We're going to talk about fatherhood, motherhood. We're going to talk about peer pressure. We're going to talk about church. We're going to talk about gangs, the streets, the whole 9 yards. Hear me. I'm qualified to talk with you about these things. Life experience, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and an acceptance of people. My goal is to, I don't even know if I like the word use. My goal is to take the opportunity to utilize the social media platform to connect with people. Connect. Think of that word, to make a connection. We build. I don't know who you're connected to. I know people that I'm connected to. We can talk in code to each other and know what each other talk about. You feel me? Dudes that I used to run with, we had our own language. Husbands and wives have their boo talk and all that. They're connected. Hopefully they're connected at the heart, not just at the mouth and not just at the head. But we're gonna talk about these things, man. We're gonna dive into some things. You know, we're gonna keep it real. We're gonna keep it a buck. Unscripted transparency. Transparent, in the simplest definition in my limited vocabulary and limited understanding is to be open, to be real. If something's transparent, you can see through it. I want to ask you a question, and maybe you can answer this to yourself. Have you ever heard something that someone told you or was trying to show you, and you can see right through them that they were lying and that they weren't real? And the feeling that you experienced with that, maybe you wrote the person off altogether. Maybe you said to yourself, this dude only knows how to lie. I had one friend like that, and I won't say his name because you might know him. I don't know what they call this, but he believed his lies. Is there a word for that, or a definite? I don't know. He believed his lies, and me and the other dudes that we surround with, we would look at him like, you don't have to lie to us. Just keep it real with us. You don't have to lie to us. But the transparency factor comes in when you can be open and real about something that you're not good at, that you've not mastered, that you're still a work in progress, that you failed in this area. I think the difference between the Michael Jordans of the world that experienced what I would call failure, being cut from the basketball team, I believe, when he was a sophomore, and I'm not telling you anything that he hasn't said, but obviously the rest is history, in my opinion. Again, greatest ever do what he does, and I know that's up for debate depending on who you like, and that's fine. There have been great men and women that have left a legacy in this world, and I don't know if you are like me. I like the story. I like the bio. I like the in between the A and the Z. I don't want to just see the finished product on the baseball diamond, on the hardwood, or carrying the pigskin of the football, or winning American Idol, or This One's Got Talent, what have you. I want to hear the story. I want to know what made that person believe and even think that they can get to where they are. I want to know how many no's did that person get before they got that one yes. I want to know that self-made millionaire who came up with an invention that someone believed in him or her and gave them a chance. And then today they can look back at it. Their quality of life is different. They've helped other people. They've changed other people's lives, etc. I'm hoping to be one of those people in your life that by sharing my story and hearing yours and putting them together, we can unfold some things and talk about some things. And really, I just want you to walk away from this better. I asked God this. I said, God, I just want people's lives to be better because I'm in it. I don't want your life to be worse because I'm in it, because then I shouldn't be in your life. And I want to make a mark on your life in such a way that if, for whatever reason, we have to depart and go separate ways, because I believe people are in each other's lives for reasons and seasons. Some of those reasons are things we won't discover, and some of those seasons are not permanent the way we hope they would. Sometimes those seasons are shorter, sometimes those seasons are longer, or sometimes those seasons are permanent. So for example, I've had what we call lifetime friends, that we cannot talk for 6 months, and it's like we never missed a beat. You know what I'm saying? I could name some of my homies, one in Colorado, one in Fall River, one in Watertown, one lives in Virginia. I can name them, and it's not as though, we sit and talk every day and that type of thing, but we could pick up with each other as though we never missed a beat. Those are people that are meant to be in your life for your lifetime. But then there are seasons. There are seasons that people are going to come into your life, and you're trying to discover what they're in your life for. I've been in relationships with people that I now see today, they were meant to be in my life for a different reason than what I made the relationship about, or what they made the relationship about, or what we made the relationship about. And here's the thing that happens there. You both lose. You, he, she, they, we, them did not get the results that were meant for them to be in your life. They were meant to be instrumental in your life for business, for growth, for spiritual reasons, for health reasons, you name it. They were meant to be in your life, that one day something was going to take off for them and they were going to ask you to be a part of it. But because you burned the bridge, which we will get into that stuff later on, you burned the bridge, you made the relationship about something that it wasn't meant to be. And then when things didn't go the way you hoped it would or should have, you burnt the bridge, you cut them off. And while you was on your way running or leaving from the burned bridge, you gave them a few choice words and gave them a piece of your mind. So thus now, those same people who are billionaires, and it's not just about money, but get my point, you could not approach them for any type of help. In fact, your name brings a bad taste to their mouth or to their family's mouths, etc. I'm hoping, I'm praying that with these series of videos, with the podcast that's going to jump off 4 corners, with my book, Unscripted Transparency, with my music, with my current book that I'm working on called 4 Corners. 4 corners, they're all types of shapes. There are circles and rectangles, triangles, squares. 4 corners is exactly that, 4 corners. I believe, again, my opinion, Lamar Jamal, my opinion, I believe this: 4 things four corners. The type of home that we were raised in or are being raised in and what we learned there. One corner. Second corner. Who you hang around. I believe this and know this to be true, that you become like who you hang around. Don't tell me that you can hang around people that don't want nothing out of life and that is your support system, and that at some point that doesn't rub off on you, that you are not as motivated as you should be. This is not a knock to people who are in the in-between place. I'm in an in-between place. This is not a knock to people who are temporarily unemployed, whatever. It is an alert to you to say that you do become like who you hang around. I want to hang around eagles. I want to hang around people that are successful. I want to hang around people that challenge me to grow and get out of my comfort zone. Type of home you were raised in, are currently being raised in. Who you hang around. The next corner. The music you listen to. The music you listen to. Rock and roll, rap music, country music, R&B, techno, whatever. The music you listen to. Don't tell me that music doesn't have an effect on the psyche, because it does. Music has such an effect on people that it has caused people to commit some foul acts in this world. It has also helped people to come together. Music has broken down the wall of prejudice. Rap music in particular. Speaking from a rapper's point of view, it's a universal language. I can say rappers' names today by the first name, which I won't. You know them just by the first name in Africa, Asia, Jamaica, Europe, America, wherever. You know them just by the name. That music has brought white people, black people, Asians, Latinas. It's brought them together for a common cause, that they've identified with something that they've heard in a rapper, in an artist, in a group, company with a hot beat, etc., etc., etc. Lastly, what you watch on television. That's the fourth corner. Four corners is who and what, you hang around. And I'm a little out of order with it. Who and what you hang around. Who and what you hang around. What type of home you were raised in or are currently being raised in. The music you listen to, whether you just heard a song, whether you sought it out, downloaded it in your, iPod, your phone, your tablet, whatever. The things you watch on television. Have you ever went to the movies and watched, say for example, a karate movie? Bruce Lee, that's my dude. Ha ha ha. Can fight 10 dudes by himself. Just nuts. The Chuck Norrises of the world, and this, that, and the other. What was one of the first things you did when you got into the parking lot? You start throwing kicks because you think you know karate and you don't. In fact, you can't lift your leg up 3 inches off the ground. That was my corny, stupid joke. Horror movie. Don't tell me when the Friday the 13th series came out and the Halloween series came out. Don't tell me you didn't think Jason or Michael Myers was coming for you, or was waiting at your crib in your closet, because you did. And you imagined things, and you were taking a shower with the curtain open and the door open and all the lights on. because that's the effect that it has on you. That's the effect that it has on the psyche. It has a way of recording images and sounds. That's the way God made the human mind and the heart, the brain. Four corners. This is what these videos are going to talk about. These are what the podcast. Four corners. Unscripted, transparent with Lamar Jamal. This is what we're going to talk about. Man, I can hardly wait. I can hardly wait. This is, an introduction of me, because a lot of people that don't know you, what would be their reasoning for listening to you, unless, somehow by word of mouth, someone said, hey, there's this woman, Jane Doe, she's talking about some real stuff. There's this dude, Lamar Jamal, he's talking about some real stuff. You ought to listen, you ought to tune in. I'm hoping to grab your attention. I'm hoping to grab your heart. I'm hoping to grab some of your time, that you will take time out of your day to watch these videos. I think, as I mentioned before, there's thousands upon thousands. I'd go as far as saying millions of videos out there that are accessible to you at the press of a button. Not everything is good for you. Let me be that person to tell you. Pornography and all that stuff, not good for your spirit. Different things that might remind you or take you on location of certain types of abuse that you've experienced, not good for you, unless it's educational or something that can help you overcome, or hear from other survivors to say, I was in this situation, that situation, and this is how I got up the strength or courage to walk away. Those things are different altogether. But watching movies and different things that portray things that you went through that are what we call triggers, be careful with things like that. Same thing with the music. There's music out there, there's songs out there, there's angry and gangster rap and this and that. There's satanic and demonic lyrics and different things that come through that are really not good for us, but that's an individual thing, and that's something that we're going to dive into once we get into the meat and potatoes and the content of these videos and the content. Not everything that we've learned inside of our homes are good. I grew up in the era of what happens in this house and what's said in this house, you fill in the blank, stays in this house. Well, I've had to unlearn some things that I've learned in my house. I've had to unlearn some ways of being, some ways of approaching different things in the world, and some ways of dealing with trauma that I learned inside of my own home. I had to unlearn some of those things and to relearn, if that's the correct way of saying it, or learn over, or whatever makes sense to you, a better way. I won't necessarily say a correct way, because what works for me might not work for you. And so I won't necessarily say a better way, but maybe it's better than what you learned and what you experienced prior. So let's just say that. And then who I hang around. I don't have a lot of friends today. I have associates. I'm hoping that through these videos and the podcast, you're going to learn the difference, because you're going to save yourself a lot of hurt from thinking she, he, they, or them are your friends when they are associates. That goes back to the reasons and seasons why people will be in your life, and you having unrealistic expectations of thinking that it was meant to be this way and meant to be that way, and that there's just going to be this, happy story. And no, sadly, the relationship may end on a sour note for various reasons. But we're going to get into it, y'all. We're going to get into it. It is going to be real. It is going to be on point. It is going to be off the hook. Once we get into things further, I definitely want your feedback. You guys can gladly send me an email, lamarsvoices@gmail.com. lamarsvoices@gmail.com. Probably eventually will make up a Four Corners email, but for right now, Lamar's Voices, Lamars, Lamar's, plural, Lamar's Voices @gmail.com. Don't send me any hate mail, guys. It's not necessary. I don't hate you. Whether you've not been the best person in this world at all, I don't hate you. I feel your pain. I'm for your growth. If I can help you, if we can help each other, let's do it that way. You can, by all means, say to me, Lamar, I don't necessarily agree with everything you said, but the one thing I'm asking is that we respect each other. And that's the meat and potatoes of this platform that will be, again, utilized through social media. We're going to respect each other, if nothing else. If nothing else, hey, listen, if you listen to one of my videos or you're part of a live podcast or whatever, and you say, I ain't hearing that, well, tune off, log on. But when it comes time, I'm definitely going to ask you to like and to share and to subscribe. I'm not just trying to get a following of people to say I have 1 million people follow me. I hear a lot of people on, YouTube. Oh, my goal is to get 10,000. Well, for what? You know what I mean? Just because you have people, following you, where are you going? Is it the blind leading the blind, or are you actually going somewhere where you're helping people? If you're going to help people with education, if you're going to help people spiritually, if you're going to help people mentally and emotionally, if you're going to help people to be balanced, I'm all for it. If you are on there to talk nonsense, to some of you people on there, and I'm not going to single out women or men, but to some of you people that are on there just because you want to show your assets or how your body looks and all that other stuff, squeeze that. That's nonsense. Okay? And once we start talking about some things and getting into some content about that very thing, I'm hoping that your perspective changes about a lot of those things, because that beauty and different things are only skin deep, and you need to understand the type of attention that you're bringing to yourself. And I'm speaking from a man's perspective, that when I see certain things, it doesn't want to make me bring you home to my mother. Trust me. Anyway, and so Four Corners, you got Unscripted Transparency, the Lamar Callahan story. I'm a local cat right outside of Boston, Massachusetts. I'm hoping that I can be a dude that when you see me walking down the street, you stop me, dap me up. We can chop it up for a second or whatever. You don't need to treat me like anything other than a brother. Treat me like someone you can relate to. Treat me like someone that you're appreciative of, that came and shared some real stuff with you, and is going to share some real life values with you. And I'm going to be open and transparent with you about my experience and things that I've learned the hard way. Dog, some of the hardest lessons in the world that I've learned have been the hard way. I don't know if you've ever said this, but I've said to myself, I'm tired of seeing people getting hurt behind me trying to find myself, or behind me trying to learn how to be a better man, a better partner, a better father, a better husband. You ever wish that you could take some of the hurt that came from you to someone and you could put it on yourself? Well, I have. I'll speak for myself. I wish that the dark times that I had as a father, going through divorce and the effects that I seen it had on my children, I wish that I could take that pain from them. But this is all part of my story. And this is all part of what I have to share with you from life experience. Again, this is all part of what I have to pour into you and to instill in you, and to help you grow, to help you at least be willing to address some things and to challenge you, again, to get out of your comfort zone of just, experience things how you've experiencing it and thinking that that's the only way that life goes. No, that's through your little small scope or your lens, and I don't call it small to minimalize it or make it not relevant or anything like that, but you are one small person in a part of this big frame called life. And so there are people that have had your similar experience. I won't say identical, but they view that situation differently than you do, and they have a different perspective. I didn't use the word better. I said they use that word differently, that situation differently, and they put different words to it. Thus, the cup's half full, the cup's half empty. Thus, I am temporarily out of cash versus someone saying I'm broke, and I never could seem to get ahead. That's a total different perspective that speaks about transition, that speaks about circumstances, situations, etc., etc. And we're going to learn the difference as we go. So again, Lamar Jamal podcast can be called Four Corners. God willing, I'd like to put out a series of videos, and I'd call them like introductory videos of me so you understand where I'm coming from. I'll let people know when the podcast is going to be, because I'm still in the process of excuse me, figuring out the best time. I know some people work mornings, some people work evenings, some people work weekends, etc. I want things to be able to be available and accessible for people. Videos and different things are great because we can post and people can go back and watch them at different times, and you can watch them over and over and over and over. But when it comes time, again, I'm definitely going to want you to like and to share and to subscribe. I am trying to build a following for the sole purpose of helping as many people as I can at one time. So yes, I'm guilty of that. If you say, well, Lamar, I thought you said it wasn't about just building a following. Well, it is, because though I'm great with just reaching one person, but I'm better reaching 1,000, and I'm even better reaching 10,000, and I'm even more better, not more better blues, but I'm even more better reaching 100,000 or 1,000,000 people, and them hearing the same thing, and what they do with what they heard. Now that's completely up to the person. More about me is going to be discovered. More about me is going to be revealed. I've told you, I think, enough of the bad things, because for a person that has failed morally, for a person that has been involved in relationships that I shouldn't have been in, for a person who's been cheated on, for a person who's cheated, for a person who's lied to get their way, to get something, for a person who had the wrong motives for even being involved with certain things. Now that things are done differently in my life, I have to look at this and say, well, dude, it's not just enough for you to have figured certain things out and for you now to come from a different perspective. It's not enough of that just to be for me. I have to share that. You ever heard someone say, oh, knowledge is power? I'm going to challenge you guys on that saying. And this, again, is my opinion. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge used is power. If I have the knowledge and the cure of cancer, and I don't share that with anybody, and people are still dying of cancer, how is that knowledge power? It is not. Knowledge used, knowledge shared, knowledge given, knowledge transferred to someone via speaking, writing, acting. You can transfer that knowledge used. Now I can look at what was said, what I heard, what I saw. I can use my senses and say, yo, did you hear what he said about blasey blasey? Did you see what she said about boom boom? Did you hear that guy who was an ex whatever say everything that glitters ain't gold? Everything is not, the grass is not always greener on the other side. Did you hear that person say I wish I didn't do it. I wish I didn't say that. I wish. Knowledge used is power. I'm endeavoring and praying to God Himself that the knowledge and the wisdom and the life experience that I have in me, and that is also in you, that we can bring these worlds together, that we can affect change in the world, that your home would be a better place, that you'd make better choices with the music you listen to and these artists or these groups that you look up to, these bands that you follow, that what you watch on TV, you'd be a little more selective, and that you pay attention to what you allow your children to watch, and quite frankly, what you just allow to come through the airways inside of your home. And then lastly, who you hang around. You see people's lifestyle, you see what people are about. You know, they talk to you and tell you, I'm doing this. Why am I going to make a choice to run with you? You're driving around with no license. You're carrying a gun. And you got drugs in the car. That's not anything that I'm drawn to. That's repellent to me. Why am I going to want to be around this or that a person when the only thing you're trying to show me to do is how to connive and get over and steal? That doesn't speak anything to me. Thus, the music doesn't speak anything to me. That you're bragging about hoes and this one and that one. That doesn't speak anything to me. You won't even get my time. You won't get my airplay with that nonsense. Portraying different things on TV, as though certain lives are the life to live, and that I should aspire to be this way and that way. No. Wrong guy, wrong dude. And so we're going to expose all that. Four corners, unscripted, transparent. Cop the book. Go on Amazon. I have digital copies available. I prefer a digital copy of a book. I also have audio book, which will be on Audible soon. But if you prefer to listen, again, you guys send me an email, lamarsvoices@gmail.com. I'd like to get that book, man. I'd like a digital copy of it. And then I'll respond to you, with my Cash App information, and we'll make that happen. And that'll just be person to person, with us, man. Then we can start dialoguing and vibing, with each other. But I'm about to be out. I have to go support and love on a family member who burying his father today, and I am happy to be a part of that service, to pray the prayer of comfort for that family, and also to be a pallbearer. Let's love one another, y'all. Let's value one another. Let's help one another. Let's challenge one another. Every conversation that I've had with my children wasn't always me telling them how much I love them. I was showing them how much I love them by me addressing them in a very direct manner, only to turn out, now that they're of age, they've asked me some hard questions. That was them loving me, saying, Dad, where's that accountability and different things that, you want from us? Well, we have some questions too about some things, because they're trying to shape and frame their world. But we're going to dive into all of that, you all. I appreciate you. I love on you. You love on me. Listen, pray for your boy. I'm trying to address some hard things in my own life. I need God's help. You need God's help. Whether you agree with that or not, so be it. But I need God's help. I need the help of man to get from one place to another, to help some things to come together in my life. Again, there'll be a series of videos and different things that will be posted, YouTube and all that type of stuff. And then we're going to get podcasts up and jumping, YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and all that other stuff. And again, I appreciate y'all. Happy Saturday to you. Make the most of it. Happy New Year. Hit me on the email if you'd like, lamarsvoices@gmail.com. One love. I'm out.